This is ASKA, and I spent 100 days in it. It is a colony-building survival game where we live out our Viking fantasy. We build and expand our tribe. We explore the world to find hidden caves and resources, and then fight a bunch of mythical enemies. So join me as we try to survive in this harsh world of ASKA. So let's begin this adventure. Alright, we have spawned in the world, and it seems we have been shipwrecked. And the one responsible for this is probably this big guy right here. He seems threatening, but well, he just left. He didn't really care. Alright, bye big guy. So looking around in the surrounding, I found this blue rocks called the Jotun blood. I'll keep calling them blue rocks because they're blue rocks, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing Jotun right. We have an ability to scan the surrounding with a press of a button. And here we have found our very first item, a small stone. And there's this wisdom wisp who tells us what to do. It's telling me to make a simple fire. By pressing B, there's a lot of buttons here. I'm pretty lost right now. But there we go, the simple fire. We'll be needing some sticks and I think long sticks. But I won't be building this here. I want a suitable spot to place this, because I think this serves as our base. And do you see my scan there? It highlighted anything that is harvestable or gatherable and colored them yellow. I was just gathering anything that came to my eyes while looking for a really suitable base. I'm actually just looking for a flat land. I got a bunch of berries from this exploration, so I wouldn't need to worry about food that much. I also gathered some sticks that might be useful in the future. In this game, in order for us to get water, there's something called the natural water collector. And now our thirst is quenched. After looking around at this area, I think it would serve as a good base. Now it was just time to make a simple fire. And there we go, we have a simple fire. I ignited the flame, and now this thing will keep us warm at night. It seems we can interact with the flame and upgrade it to a campfire. But I'm lacking in stones, so I need to look for stones. I finally checked out the tool tab, and I need to make a stone pickaxe. And to make this, I need a stone blade. And it's pretty easy. It's just 2 pieces of small rocks. So I crafted myself 2 stone blades and made the pickaxe. And with my pickaxe, I demolished this stone clump. Not really. It's kind of like a very slow process. There is like 300 HP in this rock and my damage is just 5 and 8. One cool thing though is if you break something big like this stone clump, it will turn into large stones, and it also scatters some small stones. You can also break the large stones, but I decided that I'll just carry this thing to my campfire. Having tools was pretty great in collecting materials, and as you can see, there are a lot of rocks lying around that I can break for smaller stones. I then upgraded my fire into campfire, and there we go, we need to light it again. At the very least, this thing should be more durable than the regular fire earlier. And here I am smashing the large rocks into smaller rocks. Just wanted to let you see. Next up, the Wisdom Wisp told me to make a axe. So sure, it's pretty simple. Just make a stone blade, get some rope from the flax we collected, and we crafted the stone axe. Very curious about this big rock, the Jotun blood shard, or the big blue rock shard. I hacked it away with my pickaxe. And I got myself about 2 to 3 blue rocks. Pretty good, I'd say. We'll be needing like 5 rocks if we want to summon NPCs. So this is great. I need to look for more of these. Next, it was time to make a shelter. So I positioned it just around the campfire. I'm planning to position everything around the campfire. And in order to establish the shelter, I would need a hoe to level the ground in this place. So here we are, hoeing the ground, making it leveled so we can make our shelter. And since the shelter needed some long sticks, which are basically from this young fir, I chopped the tree down. I needed the long sticks. And sadly, I can only carry one stick at a time. So this is gonna be a lot of work just to make one simple shelter. I need to run back to my base, put it down there, and then run back to the long sticks. And this thing required, I believe, about 3 long sticks. And after that was done, it was time to make a hammer to start constructing the shelter. After placing all the long sticks, I hammered away to build the shelter. But we weren't actually done yet. I need to supply this thing with rope and sticks. Good thing there's a handy feature called pin recipe. Now I know what I need. 1 long stick, 1 rope, and 2 more sticks. Oh my god. This game is so grindy. But this is just the start. And now with all the materials on hand, I started hammering down on the shelter. And hopefully that was enough. But no, we needed 8 barks. So 5 more. Not a problem at all since there were a lot of trees around us. I think I found a really good area for our base. And when I said that you can chop down the smaller materials that come out from a rock or tree, this is what I meant. You can basically destroy a long stick and it will turn to sticks and barks. And finally, after putting all the items and building this thing, we have ourselves a shelter. Yeah, time to sleep and get our energy back. Next up, I wanted to make myself this thing called the Eye of Odin. This will enable us to make or recruit villagers. So I just placed it beside my shelter and started working on it. I gathered myself some stick and long stick, place it in, and started building the thing. And the next thing we do is gather some large rocks. Like, oh my god, so many things to do. Started smashing some giant stone clumps. Brought over some large rocks, and this thing needed 2. And now, finally, we can recruit a member of our tribe, which would probably or hopefully help us in everything that we've been doing so far to make our life much easier. So I slapped in all the Jotun blood I had and activated the thing. And it gave me 2 options to select what villager I want. This game shows you the 2 first stats that a villager has, not the entire thing. So it's RNG for the rest of the stat, but the first 2 stat, at least you can pick which one is nice. I didn't really understand anything, but Sigrid's perk looks nice, so I chose Sigrid. And in 10 minutes, they'll be arriving at our base, and we can have a helper now. Woo! But since it's still just me, I'm gonna make a woodcutter spit, so our new villager will cut wood for us, and not us. Thanks. Actually pretty excited about the automation system, but I need to think about their food as well and their tools. I'll be needing to recruit a bunch more villagers, so I should really focus on getting the Jotun's blood. Everything is a pain right now since I'm alone. I gotta refuel my campfire, gather and bring the necessary materials myself, and I swear to God, you just can't get enough flax in this game. I need to explore more and look for flax. But one thing though, I can just throw some barks and turn them into fiber. So 2 bark equates to 2 fiber, which is 1 rope. Tonks. I'm not sure what else this thing needs, but I hope this finishes it. And it did finish. Alright. Next was for the next villager's task, which is to collect stones. The stone pit. Really excited for the automation because I swear I'm a lazy guy when it comes to survival games that require so much resource. And there's no way to increase the amount of resource you gain in this game. I then prepared an area to build another shelter. This will be our next villager's home. I did not continue the stone pit yet because we'll need a villager first. I also need a builder in this base, so I don't need to be the one who drags items towards these things and build these things. But as the first person of the village, it's my responsibility to prepare it for the people who are coming over. Oh look, our villager has arrived. And it seems like this villager was good at mining, if you can see the mining icon on the lower right. I assigned her to the first shelter I ever built. And for now, task her in collecting wood because I really need wood for shelters, not rocks. Now I just need to collect more Jotun blood to summon another villager. So these villagers are basically useless at night because they just sleep the entire day and I think won't wake up until 6 a.m. And so we need to build this ourselves. And once that was done, it's time to sleep as well. There's actually a rested buff in this game. It's the green lightning icon you see on my hotbar. And what it does, it helps you regenerate stamina much faster, I believe. For now, in the dark, I continued working on the stone pit. Or the stone cutter's pit. I got tired afterwards and decided to look for Jotun blood. I really want my automation. I need more workforce in this village. And after collecting enough Jotun blood, I activated it and found this Nana that was good at chopping wood. Yes! We have a wood chopper now. I can just switch the jobs from this guy that's sleeping that works wood to the stone cutter's pit. Well, once Nana arrives though, because I still need someone to get wood. Alright, so it was time to build another shelter for our third villager, upcoming villager. So that villager I had, you would assume that he would be helping me right now, but he was still sleeping. So I'm assuming they wake up at 8, not 6. Here's an angry, grumpy boss right here because I really wanted more hands on getting these wood. So the day actually starts at 7. So I'll assume that our villager is awake and collecting wood right now. Because right now I'm just exploring and foraging stuff like sticks, flax, and berries. Upon getting back home, chopping a random tree, I see my villager collecting the materials that we just chopped. I'm proud of this person. I'm happy that he's here and will help us. And finally with this, we were done with a stone cutter's pit. And now we need to prioritize the next shelter or this new villager will take my home. I also gave a thought of making a weapon now because there might be something that will attack our village sooner or later. So it's better to have a weapon than nothing at all. Visiting the stone pit, I can see that there were already items inside. So I can just pick them up, drop them off at the new shelter we were making. How convenient, right? Our villager is chopping wood for us. I can just AFK and let them work until the whole thing is filled. But no, we'll actively try to help our villagers until they can self-sustain themselves. Like someone will gather some food, someone will gather rocks, someone will make tools. The plan is still so big and we're still not there. I would just love to like come home, pick up items, and continue my exploration outside the world, not work on my base. I just want to set up where I want to build this thing and have my workers build it themselves. And I believe we're still far on that. Like maybe 3 more villagers and we should be able to accomplish that amount of automation I want. But for now, let's stop crying and just make the shelter. Also, we have reached 6,000 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. And to those who are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and help me reach that 10,000 number. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, time to go back to making shelters. And yeah, 3 more villagers. One that will craft some tools, one that would gather some fruits or berries or anything that's edible outside our village. And then another one that would build for us. That's the only villagers we need and we can go out on an adventure, leaving them alone in the base. But for now, I'll babysit these guys until they're ready. Alright, so 2 more shelters. But actually, let's make a lot more. So the next area I wanted to make was the gatherer's pit. This is where our 3rd villager is gonna work and gather berries or other random stuff for us. Now that our new villager is here, I swapped jobs with Sigrid and Nana because Sigrid was better at mining and Nana was good at chopping wood. And now it was time to look for more Jotun's blood to recruit our 3rd villager. There was actually a lot surrounding the base, but I'll eventually need to go out further as they're running out already because I've been mining them non-stop since day one. And there's this thing called the workshop pit. The thing I told you about, that someone will be handling this to make the tools that our villagers will need in order to chop wood or mine stones. Currently, I manually give them the items they need by crafting it myself. But with this, someone will do it now. It's huge though, so there's a lot of plowing involved. I procrastinated on that workshop pit because for now, I think it's better to prioritize the shelter. And since my body didn't have the energy to work that fast anymore, I decided to rest. Our woodcutter was actually doing really great work. Like our woodcutter spit was full of wood already. So I dismissed her work. So she will be turned into a builder. And she will help me build for now while she's not doing the woodcutting job. Because if I stop assigning her to do something, she will just rest like that and not do anything. I mean, that's fine and all, but I want things done in the village ASAP. Decided to just leave the village to the builder, and I went out and gathered a bunch of materials. One of the main goals were to look for the blue rock because I was honestly running out. I couldn't even summon a third villager yet because there was nothing nearby. And with this, we can summon our third villager. So TLDR, I picked Dagny because she has the ability to grow crops. The green thumb. So currently, things are looking great. We're slowly establishing our village and we're just waiting for our third villager to come. I then stopped crying about how huge the workshop pit was and started plowing the land, even if it would take a while. I got sidetracked again because it was raining and there was something called a rain collector that would collect water for us. So yeah, I slapped this in here so my worker can start putting materials to it so it will finish itself. I'm not sure, but it was sideways. But I think it will work out. I don't know. And here comes the third day. Holy, this game is actually really long. There's so much to do, and well, we'll just find out how far we can go in 100 days. And look at this. I'm so proud of our villager. He built the rain collector himself. Nice. Sometimes your villagers will go near you and ask something of you. I noticed this guy was sticking behind me, so I had to talk to her. And I see that she needs a pickaxe and is starting to get hungry. Oh no, I really need that gatherer as soon as I can. And since I didn't have an extra pickaxe, I'll just give her my extra pickaxe. I also gave her the last berry I had. Now they can eat and have a pickaxe to work. So I definitely need to prioritize the gatherer's pit. For now, I went out and gathered a bunch of berries, sticks, and flax. Oh look, our new villager has arrived. Next up, I wanted to craft this water well. It was pretty simple because we had a natural water collecting rock in our base. So I just slapped it in. So good thing that I actually made my base around those things. Now we don't need to look for it and we have a really good water source nearby. And with the gatherer's pit completed, I assigned our new villager. Now she will gather some stuff for us. The next thing I really wanted to make was a farm, but I don't know how to make it yet. But I'll keep a lookout on it. For now, I've been noticing a lot of giant rabbits near my base. So it was time to make myself a bow and arrow. But for now, to the wilderness we go because I needed food because I placed everything I had in the gatherer's pit. So my villagers won't go hungry. And I shall never forget, of course, to get these blue rocks. Our fourth villager is coming soon. I got curious and looked at my builds. And it seems that in order to make a farm, I need to have a gatherer's hut. And to get a gatherer's hut, we need a workshop pit, which I totally forgot about because I was so busy with the gatherer's pit. Just finish this water well and I will soon focus on the other things that needs to be done. And my villager approached me again. It seems they need to have an area to work with. So I placed down this wood harvester flag. So our villager will go here and chop the wood here. There seems to be a radius on the work area that they will work on. I did not know that until now that he asked me for it. So at the very least, now we know, and we will place that marker there so she will start working on the trees there. And there's a convenient way to check the radius. And this is the area she will work on. I think I placed the flag too close to the gatherer's pit, but whatever, I'll move this later on. I suddenly got a notification that the blood moon rises. Oh no. So does it mean there's gonna be monsters attacking the village? Because when it's blood moon in other games, it's usually monster raiding the village. But it says smokers are leaving the village. What? Wow. I was excited for combat and they just left like that. But wait, actually, they're here. With my club on hand, the very basic weapon we have, I totally easily killed them. Wow. I was excited for combat. That was not really the kind of action I was looking forward to. We don't have any items right now, so I guess it's fine. At least no one died in the village, right? Everyone's safe. So in order to skin some alive beings, like these rights or whites right here, I made myself a knife and started skinning them for their materials. It's honestly a very long process. And what I got from that was bone fragments. I remember seeing I can make spike clubs using bone fragments. So that's a weapon improvement. That's nice. Now that we had 5 more Jotun Bloods, we can summon the next villager. I chose Hannah because she had a perk that enables her to gather even more forageables. Meaning, she's good for the gatherer's pit. And I should change the 3rd villager to a farming area. She had the green thumb, which is good for farming. I honestly can't remember names. Imagine I have multiple villagers. I won't be able to remember all of them. And with enough material gathered, I started making the water well. And now we have, I believe, an unlimited water source. Let's go. Next up was to continue working on the workshop pit. Because I hate it when my villagers keep asking for a tool. I want someone to make tools for them. We need like 3 more villagers. Because our 4th one will be handling the gatherer's pit. Our 3rd one is gonna be for farming. Our 5th is the builder. And our 6th would be the workshop, I guess. Slowly getting to automation, am I right? This game is pretty chill. There's not much combat right now. Maybe because we're at the early game. I'll be doing the building for now since we don't really have enough villagers that can handle everything. But I would still go out in an exploration expedition because I need more Jotun blood. Exploring is actually really good because I can gather a bunch of berries and flax. I love flax. Flax makes you a lot of rope. Then after going home, I finished my 5th shelter. And took a quick break as I was tired from it all. I stored most of the stuff I have on my inventory because I was gonna go on a journey to look for more Jotun's blood or the blue stones to summon more villagers. I don't really play these kinds of games that much. I had never really encountered a lot of monsters ever since I started playing this game. I just want action, but surprisingly, this game is kind of addicting, just building the village. I guess you could say that my goal really is just to automate the base so I can leave them alone and they will survive on their own. These are just baby steps right now. We'll eventually have a village that can survive without their chief. There was something called a large stone axe at the workshop table, so I crafted myself one. Progress. It's time to chop some giant trees so it will give us some logs because we need these logs in order to further upgrade our stations. Now that we have our logs, we can upgrade our gatherer's hut. And once we have upgraded this, we should be able to unlock the farm building. And with enough materials gathered, I made the gatherer's hut. What improved is the inventory of this place got expanded, as well as you can assign 2 workers on this place now. Also, we have unlocked the farm now. Nice. For now, I ventured in the wilderness and placed a lot of food foraging markers so our NPCs will go here to gather foraging materials. So these guys actually don't go beyond your markers. So you really need to place markers where you want them to go. And look at this smoker. These animals steal your materials, your food. And yeah, I really want to kill them, but they run so fast. I really can't outrun them. And my bow and arrow don't really do that much damage. I just mostly give up. I really need to fence my base so these guys won't be stealing my items. For now, I just lay down the foundation and let my builder, place the materials it needs to make the fence. It will require me to donate a lot of sticks and a lot of rope. It's honestly a pain in the butt. But we'll need this fence for in the future as well to defend against attacks of enemies. As far as I know, on day 4 of this game, you can basically upgrade everything, every station you build, including the fences. You can upgrade it in the go. It might be sticks now, but you can upgrade it to something better. You don't need to dismantle it or something. So yeah, just by doing this, you can already tell this is a grind to even just fence this one gatherer's hut. It's a pain in the butt. And all I need to do now is wait for my builders to finish this up because I don't want to do this myself. I made even more shelter because more villager means more people working in the base, meaning we can expand our base further and faster. I went out to forage some random things and explore the map. I will let my villagers do the things in the village for now. They should be big enough to handle themselves. And of course, I will collect more of the blue rocks. While minding my own business, just mining some blue rocks, a random wolf decided to fight me. I had a flimsy club right now and my melee skill is basically non-existent, but it still did its job, knocking the wolf down and me finishing off. Getting a Steam achievement, let's go. Harvesting in this game takes forever. But maybe because I have a low level on my harvesting skill, and as well as I only have a stone knife. Another wolf decided to attack me while I was harvesting his friends, so of course, I whack him down. They're honestly easy to kill, it's just a few hits. They get stunned and they basically die afterwards. Understandable since we don't really have a health potion in this game. But we can eat garlic or onion to help us regenerate HP. It's not that big, but at least it helps. So I got some meat chunk plus leather scraps from the wolves. That's nice. I bring home some meat, my villagers. I then added a barbecue spot on my campfire so we can cook the meat. Also added more markers in the map so my villagers know it's safe to harvest materials here. I then helped out my villager by chopping some wood. I'm not sure if my villagers are capable of chopping these things even if they have a big axe. I think I need to improve my woodworking station first before they try and chop the big wood. Because there's no log containers, I guess. Maybe that's why they don't chop the big woods because there's no log containers on those. I also added a fire cover on my campfire if ever it's raining so we can still use it and it will help us warm up in the cold nights. Upon upgrading the woodcutter's station to tier 2, it has way bigger storage now and it can also store logs now. That's pretty cool. One of the things I don't really like is the blood moon. There are gonna be random enemies that try to raid the base. It's mostly just a unit of 2, one elite and one normal or common soldier. And they're not really hard to beat. The problem is I can't leave my base if it's like this. And it's so goddamn dark in the night. I really don't have any torches around my base. And since we're only day 6, I guess the raids are only just the common monsters. As you can see, very easy to kill. We now reach melee combat 1. I need to make the barracks in the archery area soon so we can practice and level up our skills. I finally decided to try out the bow. And I was so excited to hit this thing. But the timing on that duck. Oh my god. And yeah, stamina was a thing. So if you run out of stamina while aiming at something, it will not fire. And look, the raiders again are here. And this time, they're pretty tough. They have a shield though. It's a skeleton now, but what rather than the rights we usually fight. But still, knock them out, regenerate some stamina, and try again. This one had a shield though, so it kept blocking my attack, and it's pretty annoying. I need to maybe take one for the team before I attack so he doesn't use a shield. It's not that strong of a damage anyway since I can heal it up. So, yeah. Then for some reason, there was a rabbit watching one of my villagers sleep. I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe it's just watching it, or maybe it's eating its flesh. But trying out the bow and arrow, my damage was so cute, I didn't even want to use it anymore. I probably just need more bow training. Currently, I'm just using the most basic bow and most basic arrow. A wooden arrow and a wooden bow. Maybe it wasn't a headshot, so let's try again. Yeah, it sucks. I don't know. Maybe I just need to level it up. The game is really slow, but surprisingly, it's addicting. And each time I get a new villager, it gives a smile on my face that I have someone that will work on the base instead of me. Next on the agenda, more foraging. I really like getting flax because it gives like 5 fibers. Those are pretty rare at this early stage, I guess. But a flax is abundant all over the place. You just need to look for it. So the goal of this mission is to collect more of the Jotun blood so we can summon more villager. More villager, more work done, right? I then found this really interesting place. It was guarded by 2 wolves. And there were these things like chunks of meat that had health bars and you can actually destroy them. But for now, I need to beat up the wolf so, you know, I don't die by them. Out of curiosity, I wanted to destroy this thing. Maybe it contains like really good items or something. And hey, it's good for melee combat experience. And after destroying this thing, something like a red light emerged and it had like a wolf face thingy. Maybe it's a boss. So if I destroy 2 of these things, the boss will get summoned. So for now, I don't really have any armor. I just said nope and continued collecting some blue rocks like what I originally planned. So I will just remember this place in my mind and in the map because you can't pin in this game, or I just don't know how to pin in this game. And look at the amount of ropes I can make from all the fibers I made. I made like 15. I continued my foraging journey, making sure that I get all the garlic and onion because it's the only food that can heal. And then went home and recruited even more future villagers. I have so many blue rocks right now that I can even recruit 1 more after this. Another shelter here for our future villager. I then made this thing called the wooden altar. I'm not really sure what it does, but from the description, it says a villager will sit here and talk stories or something. I'm not sure if there's any impact in the village of their happiness, I guess. I then made a hunter's hut. So we will need to recruit someone who's good with a bow. And his job will be to provide meat for the village and also to kill all those rabbits that keep stealing our goods. Okay, so it's finally time to think about making a barracks and an archery range so we can train our combat and archery skills. Also, we can assign villagers here, so one could be a patrol which can keep the village safe even if we're not around. It would probably depend if the raiders are pretty strong or weak, but our villagers should be able to handle it. I then explored the lands again and I found this really interesting place. We had a blue rock on this altar right here. Aside from like random animals, there's nothing here. It's just interesting to see some, you know, stuff I haven't seen before. So wow, but there's nothing rare, just 1 blue rock. But let's be thankful that we found a single blue rock. While I was just chilling, exploring, I got alerted that a pack of hungry smokers are attacking the village. What? So I need to do this fast, go home, and protect our village. Honestly, after getting back to the village, nothing was attacking. Am I being trolled? So I just stayed at the village for a while and helped with the construction and stuff. And suddenly, I got this alert. They never even came. They disturbed my exploration. What? Anyways, I continued my exploration, fought a bunch of wolves, and leveled up my harvesting skills because it really was weak, honestly. I really need to level this up. So the only way to level it up is harvesting meat, I guess. Also, I can get some leather scraps. It might be very useful for armors in the future. I brought home meat again, my villagers, but they're all asleep. Okay. I'll cook them some barbecue so when they wake up, they will be full. Cooking in this game is rather simple. Just put the meat and then wait for it to cook. But if you leave it for too long, it will turn into charcoal. This is one point of the game I discovered the terrain levels. What this basically does, if you put a starting point, then like stretch it out to an endpoint, it will level the ground to what level the starting point is. And I should have used this from the start when building a base so it doesn't look as bad as this right now where everything isn't even leveled. And finally, with this last fence, our gatherer's hut is safe from animals. Like, they won't steal stuff from here anymore. Then assign someone to work on the farm. I also already have someone at the workshop that can make them some wooden rakes whenever they need it. The priority right now was fiber, so we can make a lot of ropes so they can finish the fence and the whole base. And look at this farmer working on our farm. Slowly automating everything. Let's go, let's go. I totally forgot about the meat I cooked and now they're cold. Nice. Crunchy coal. With nothing else to do, I continued helping out in the village. My plan was to have my villagers work on the village, but they were pretty slow, so I had to do this hands-on as their chief. I think what we need is more villagers for sure. I was pretty excited that the barracks would be completed with this, but no, there were more things needed. I also noticed that I needed to fence my workshop as this random smoker was stealing stuff from it. Oh my god, I really need to fence my base as soon as I could. All this time, they've been stealing stuff from me. I did not even notice. I honestly regret this decision because my base is pretty big and will be expanding even more. I should have just fenced the workshop alone than fencing the entire thing. But these fences will keep dangers away because those skeletons can't jump. I now also had the recipe to make a chieftain's house. I'll have my lovely villagers set this up as well as the cottage that they can live in. I continued chopping down trees to help my villagers, hasten the process of making the fences. I really just want those pesky animals to disappear and not steal my stuff before I continue my adventures. I got tired of maintaining my base, so I just went out and gathered even more Jotun's blood. Really should just increase the workforce in my base so I don't need to think about it. I checked out some stuff I can make at the workshop, and there were an armor set that needs like linen and linen threads. These needs expansion from the workshop to have like a loom. So I guess that's the plan for our next endeavor. For the farm, I added food because I believe that I have more villagers now and they need a lot of food. Look at this little thing that came inside our farm. You think you can escape? You think you can? Well, he can actually. Actually got stuck though. And I got him. I was curious if the mushrooms would, you know, make me full, but everything just turned green like this. Wow, colors. I then gathered even more blue rocks so we can summon more villagers. After exploring a bit, I reached the beach area near the shipwreck and I found new materials like mussels for food and reeds to get thatch.
Oh, what's that? What are you? Oh, 2 heads.
There were these fish undead looking monsters near the beach. I was surprised at first, but they were pretty squishy. I just realized when the game alerts me that there's a pack of hungry smokers, it means there are hungry rabbits that wants to steal the loot I have on my gatherer's hut or my workshop. That's why whenever I visit my base, when it alerts me like that, I don't see any threat at all. Now that my fences are almost done, I don't think I should be scared of them anymore. Now have the station called the cooking hut where I can cook some soup How it basically works is I can either assign someone to do this, which I will, or I can do it myself by putting meat and then some water. The amount of water determines how many soup are prepared, I believe. And look, we're like 12 villagers strong. Let's go. I wanted to expand my workshop to have a weaver or leather worker. But as you can see, I was pretty dumb to have some other structures nearby. So now I can't expand this. I need to relocate this. So I then worked on expanding my base by leveling the terrain. This time I plan to have everything on a flat ground. Just look at this area so far. I wish I have learned about this earlier. Then made sure that everything was fenced up. I left the building to my villagers. For now, I trained myself in melee combat. So these dummies will enhance my melee level. The only thing was, we needed to wait for stamina to recover. I wish that I could continuously whack this thing without thinking about stamina, but yeah, it's a thing, so we gotta wait. Now that we have some space, I try to upgrade the weaver and have my villagers do it for me. Then we get the leather worker. And with those two, I think we can finally get an armor in the game. While leisurely doing things in my village, a wolf pack is approaching. The fences are doing their job. They can't really go inside. I whack them from inside the fence and they can't do anything. Except that my stamina, I swear. It is so small. And with this, we have defeated the threat to the village. I didn't know what kind of threats will be in for us in the future. I decided to train my combat abilities. At the very least, we have a high damage once that time comes. I also placed down the archery range for my villagers to make. I wanted to level up my bow skills as well in hopes that it will help us from doing a lot of damage without taking damage to the enemy. I then headed out to the wild again to collect more Jotun's blood. But since I encountered these wolves, it was time to put my melee combat to the test. And surely enough, my damage was higher than before. Not just because of my club, but because of the mastery we have. I then discovered this really interesting place. So I was curious, so I went to check it out. This place was crawling with monsters. The rights and the elite versions of the rights. The big ones you see at the back. The little ones weren't really a problem. It just took like 3 swings and they're down. 2 swings and they're stunned. But the threat were these guys. They're pretty fast. And their attacks are pretty fast. And they have this AoE thing. And well, the damage was pretty high as well. I wasn't sure if I could beat this guy. Maybe I should run or I might die here. So yeah, I ran away. I'll be back once I have an armor set. I continued whacking the rights though, as they were good melee experience. I then went home and summoned even more villagers to the village. So this is when I discovered that there was something called torchlights or stone lamps in this game. And what it does, it prevents or it scares off the animals near the base. So I really didn't need to fence my base, but the fence is actually very helpful against invasions. Still, I felt like I put too much work on fencing the base. But it turned out well. But still, I want to renovate my base into a flat ground. So I'm gonna be dismantling a bunch of stuff, then flattening the terrain. I then plowed a land above my village, hoping that I can expand this a lot, that it will be our main base. But it felt like it's too much work, so I just decided to go back down. Something I wasn't expecting to happened. So a bear attack was coming to the village. And I didn't know if a bear is really strong or if it's manageable. When it arrived, I was pretty scared because this was huge. And my damage was pretty okay, I guess. But the problem was, its damage to us. It was really strong, like holy 45 damage. It's almost like 1/3 of my health. I still tried my best to fight off the bear. He just kept destroying things in our base and I really hate it. But still, I need to fight for my village where everyone's just sleeping and it's just me fighting alone here. I did not assign any warriors to guard or patrol the area. That was my mistake. But I'll believe in my gaming skills that I can dodge all of its attacks, because I'm just one shot to death right now. Well, I died. So in this game, you can either respawn as a ghost, where you can take over a body of your villager, or reborn and lose some stat points. I chose to become a ghost and took over the soul of this villager called Bose. And now I have a full health, kept my items, kept my stats, and I can still try and fight the bear again, but the bear left. So, poor Bose. I then added a leather working station on the workshop. I'm pretty excited for the future armors we can wear. And then continued leveling the ground, because I really want this really nice and huge flat spot. And because of what happened with the bear, it was time to train my archery skills. This thing was actually really easy to level up, especially when we have now the archery area. We can just pick up the arrows and then use them again to try and level up our archery. But these arrows also have some durability. After using them for a couple of times, it will eventually die out. I also leveled up my skinning skill by skinning all these meat chunks that my hunter has hunted. I then had my builders make me a warehouse. Then I leveled the terrain again. I was planning to put my barracks here, so the sword and the bow training is beside each other. I then continued my archery training because I don't want to work on the buildings or plowing the land anymore. I'll let the villagers do it. It's very noticeable that my damage has been increasing the more I leveled up my archery. Before I dealt like 6 and 7. Now it's like 9, 10, and 8. That's crazy. So I can just do this like until my bow level is 100. And imagine how much damage I'll do to every monster. And yeah, this is just the wooden arrow and the wooden bow. Nothing special or nothing like a high-tiered bow or something. And great timing. Wolfar pack is approaching. We can try out our bow. Well, they were destroying my fence as quick as they can. So I think I'd rather just melee them to death. And look at my villager helping me out. I'm pretty thankful. But I really should raise some warriors with good weapons. I dismantled a bunch of buildings so I can level the ground. I dismantled my chieftain house since I don't really use it. And looky, it's a blood moon again. And there was a new type of enemy that raided. It looked like a tree-like person with a shield and sword. It looked pretty scary. But no matter. I think we can take care of this. We have an ally beside us that will help us battle these guys. I really hate enemies with a shield. It's so hard to attack them. They always like block my attacks. Not really always, but if you let them hit first, they can't block the next attack. But that's like tanking a damage from them, and that sucks. Because, you know, no potions except for garlic and onions. Alright, so that thing was called a Draugr Berserker. And harvesting this guy, it drops like a large rock and some pebbles. And now that I have some linen, I can finally craft some armor. For now, it's just the shirt and the hood. But, well, we have clothes now. More enemies raided us because, yeah, it's a blood moon. But our villagers are actually doing pretty well for themselves. Some are even just using their fists. And this guy actually beat the Draugr on its own. Dang, I can actually just leave this place and let them handle everything here. For the warehouse, there's a bunch of stuff you can craft. Like something to store water, something to store meat, something to store ores, and any other stuff you can think of. And you can expand this twice. So that means you can have a lot of stuff stored here. I then made myself a glove and a pants. We're slowly completing our armor set. The next thing I wanted to do was build a couple of cottages, around 8. So the 16 villagers will have a decent home. And yeah, I continued leveling my archery skills. I really want to attack in range because we don't have potions. and I don't want to risk my HP going down from any random enemies. Look at my damage now with the new arrows. It's the bone-tipped arrow. It's huge, I guess. It's basically similar now to how my melee damage is, but we're ranged. Look at the deforestation my woodworker's been doing. Like, oh my god, look at the amount of wood they have chopped. Sadly, for some reason, they don't remove the tree stomp. And I hate it. They should remove this so I can expand my area of land. I have to do this myself. Making these cottages isn't really cheap, so it takes a while. But I'll slowly transfer all of my current villagers to these cottages, so our village will look like a proper village with good housing, not just shelter. The renovations I've been doing is really nice because look how flat my base is now. I love it. Grass and like the mountain-like area was pretty annoying, but with flat land, it's nice. I like my base now. Level 24, range combat, and a better bow and a good arrow. I deal like 20 plus damage now. It's crazy. I built something called the sled and it's so useful. I can put like things that usually can only take one at a time to carry home. Now I can put like 3 of those in the sled and I can carry it back home. It's very useful. I was wondering what my gatherers were gathering, and they were gathering a lot of mushroom. I just dropped them on the ground. I didn't even think of cooking them. That was actually a mistake because these mushrooms were easily turned into food with water, and cooking them will not make them poisonous anymore. And how did I know it was poisonous? I tried one and I had food poisoning. So dumb. I'm so dumb. Anyways, currently large rocks was a scarcity in the base. So with my trusty sled, I mined a bunch of rocks, put them in my sled, and took them home so they can use it in building the cottages. And if you notice, it's already winter and they really need the cottage because the cold. They might die from the cold. Let me just say, I hate winter. I really hate it. Because when you get sick, stamina recovers very slow and it's annoying. And you need to be near fire in order to remove the sickness eventually. I had my workshop person make armor for everyone. It's not that hard to get fiber now since we have a farm. I was currently in a rush to finish all these cottages so I can transfer most of my people that were sleeping on shelters that were freezing to death. I'm just happy that our hunters are actually doing a good job stocking meat, or else we would suffer from both cold and hunger in this very treacherous winter. I wish that my rock collectors were as active as me, but for some reason they don't really use a sled even if I leave one at home. I'm not sure how to assign them a sled, but anyways, alright. I can sacrifice some of my time to provide large rocks for the village. Isn't my village looking nice? Right. Just a few more leveling of the ground and we'll eventually have a really nice looking village. Just a couple more cottages, around 5, and we can transfer everyone to their new home. I dismantle the old ones, and this we get the materials back, like the long sticks that they can easily use to make the new cottage. I experimented cooking, and like I said earlier, I wasted a lot of mushroom by just dropping them and letting them spoil. Now I tried cooking them and I got myself some mushroom soup. I really regret dropping all those mushrooms. So in this game, you need to be the one to discover new recipes. You can only set a task for your villagers to cook a certain item when you already discovered it. Because of all the plowing I did, my water well has a really awkward position, but it still works though. And yikes, a blood moon again. Worry not though, we have a bow and arrow now. Well, but look at this damage, right? It's so good, 25 per hit. And it also decreases the bar of their posture, I guess. Because they'll get stunned once the yellow bar reaches 0. So that's pretty useful. Their shield is still very annoying though. And now that we have a bow, we're pretty much safe from harm. Not really, but yeah, it's easy to avoid the enemies just by running back or rolling backwards if ever they're close. So I'm very happy that I've been leveling my archery skills. I mean, if we had a way to have like potions, I would go melee, like two-handed sword or something. But since we do not have a way to heal up our HP, aside from going home and going to the healing hut, or eating some garlic or onion, it doesn't really heal a lot. It's still a good option to have like a range attack where enemies can't hit you back when you try to hit them. Realize now why this area is always empty of food. It's because I didn't set this cooking place to cook like a lot of things at once. I continued leveling the terrain as I needed another workshop for metalwork and carpentry. I'll also need to find where the cave is so I can start mining some iron. I got bored taking care of my village. I think my villagers can handle it on their own for now. I wanted even more villagers in my base, but I didn't have any more Jotun's blood. So it's time to look for them. Remember those fish-like monsters? I one-shot them now. After that one trip of exploration, it was now time again to return home and help the village make the cottages. It didn't take me long to get bored again, so I went outside once more to get more Jotun's blood and to explore the map some more. One of the most important thing I wanted to do in this exploration is to get a lot of flax to make a lot of rope. I actually destroyed my farm to level the terrain, and ever since then, I still haven't made another farm yet. And now that our cottages are slowly being finished, it started to collect more Jotun's blood again so we can summon more villagers to work in the village. After scanning this area, this huge rock was highlighted. So I assumed this was the cave. So I slapped in the cave entrance build to see if it worked out. And it did. So this was the cave. Nice! Now we have a spot we can get iron ores from once our builder like comes here and build this thing. I then crafted a simple fire just besides the archery area so I can continue using my bow and arrow at the night, training it to level up while being warmed by the fire. I also added a campfire in the middle of all the cottages because for some reason my villagers don't light up their fireplace inside the cottages. I don't know what's wrong with them. Maybe it's me. I did not command someone to like turn this on or something. Or they don't have any source of firewood or something. So this is when I realized that I didn't need multiple cottages. I could just make a lot of bed inside a single cottage. You can fit like 6 people here. I didn't need to make multiple cottages. But since we already made multiple cottages, sure, why not? So off I went near the beach to collect some reeds to get some thatch. I placed a marker here for my woodcutters to get thatch, but they never approach this place. They're honestly too busy chopping wood than to come here and get thatch. So I had to do it myself. So I spent a lot of time gathering thatch, going home, gathering thatch, going home to finish all the beds inside cottages. I basically just fit like 6 villagers in one cottage and I have like 4. So that's 6, 12, 18, 24 villagers. So I can recruit more. All these body heat inside one cottage. They will never go cold. And just when I finish building all the extra beds inside the cottages, it was no longer winter. So their shelter is fine, but well, it's okay. Let's just put all of them inside their cottages. Another blood moon, and yeah, bow and arrow really is good in this game. I want to level this up to above like 50 and see how much damage I can do by then. Currently it's around 20 plus. And finally, I built myself my farm again. Now we can gather a lot of flax. I also plan on growing a lot of garlic or onion so we can start having healing food. I now wanted to fight tough monsters or explore deeper in the forest. So it was time for our training arc, like leveling up our bow mastery to above 50 and see where we can go from there. Look at my damage so far. I think it's around 40 now. 33. And just 2 hits, I stun the wolf. Then 3 hits, they die. Oh, it's 44 now. Crazy. Dang, look at that damage. Oh my god, the bow is amazing. But imagine if this was melee. I think it's also amazing. So remember that place where when we break this, it will summon like a red light that looked like a wolf? So yeah, it's time to fight that boss. Let's go. Well, the amount of wolves actually overwhelmed me. And yeah, I lost. Now I had to sacrifice another villager again so I don't lose any stats or items. There was a new villager I recently summoned, so I guess she'll be our sacrifice. I'm sorry. Thank you for your offering. For now, I went exploring again to gather more Jotun's blood since I need to summon more villagers. I then trained my archery skill. I was hoping to two-shot the wolves. If maybe we can reach level 60 in archery, that should be enough to take care of the Finir boss very easily. So a lot of time was spent just mindlessly shooting my bow and arrow at the archery range. And also once my Jotun blood has run out, I go out to the wilderness and collect some more so I can keep summoning villagers to stay in my base. I decided to raid that place full of, I forgot these things' names, but yeah, full of these guys. I'm kind of sad I can't one-shot them, but still, the damage is pretty nice bow experience, so this is a good farm. So harvesting the whites, they actually drop Jotun blood. So I didn't need to keep looking for stones. I can just come here, level up my weapon skills, and then harvest skills. And the white has a chance of dropping the Jotun blood. I'm not really sure if there's a certain station that can make my woodcutters chop the tree stumps. But I have to do this myself. And I wanted to do this as well because I wanted to expand my land towards here so I can put more stations. I also had enough materials now to make myself a cape, so I made one. Also, a brand new hoodie called the Thick Linen Hood. I swear to God, my cape looks like a blanket. Look at this. I also had my builders make myself a bloomery station where it can heat up metal scraps or iron into, I don't know what's the word, bloomed iron. And also this coal maker to turn all the firewoods that I have extra that nobody actually loots in this base and turn them to coal. Testing out my bow skills on these raiders. I missed. But here's the shot that will not miss. And it's pretty decent, honestly. It's not bad. 30 damage. But, oh my god. These guys are getting stronger each time they try to raid us. So we'll eventually see like crazy amounts, I guess, in the future. The bow is actually really fun to use, even if it's close up like this. It still like packs a punch. I just don't like the idea of wasting arrows, but at the same time, it's not really bad because we can harvest the enemies we kill and they will drop the arrows we used to kill them with. While just exploring around the place, I got this alert that a portal just spawned and darkness is coming and the gods will test me. We still have like 23 days to prepare before it starts. But so far, the raiders on our village was not really strong. We were able to defeat them solo, but sometimes our villagers help. But yeah, like I said, they're not a problem at all. I really wanted to defeat that Fenrir, so I continued training my archery skills. After leveling my archery skill for a bit, it was time to face Fenrir again and see if we can finally defeat him this time. So let's initiate the fight. And yes, we finally emerged victorious against this guy. Time to harvest our wins. So upon harvesting the Fenrir, I got something called the Earth Artifact. So I think this is a thing we need to build something in the base, just like the Odin's Eye to summon villagers. And I wasn't wrong. We can make something called the Earth Runestone that can give us the Earth Blessing. I continued training my archery skill as I don't know when a dangerous monster will come here again, like that bear. Also, our other workshop now has a metal workshop. So we can now make metal stuff like metal axe, metal iron axe, or metal knife. Let's go. I also expanded it to have the carpenter's area. So they can process the logs or long sticks into beams or shafts and we can make a better bow. So it's finally time to visit the cave and gather some iron ores. Inside was just a giant cave wall, and once we break this cave wall, then we get the iron ores. There is a lot here, like a lot. I mined till like my inventory was full of iron ores, then I went home. And we'll come back here again to stock up on iron ores. I then tried out the ritual. I didn't know how this works, honestly. But I just lit up the fire. It was green. And sat on a... I don't know what to call this. Leather? I didn't get any blessing or whatever. But there was actually an option to hold a ritual. So I guess I was doing it wrong. And after doing the ritual for a while, I got the Earth Blessing. As you can see the green icon just above my health bar. What it does is increase the amount of health we have. I probably failed at the ritual as I was walking around the village, my blessing disappeared. The ore process was actually pretty long. It takes time for the villagers to heat up the iron and for the workers to make the iron into something like the blade the axe head or something else. So I need to make another extra metal work area and also the bloomering iron area. I'm totally not sure what the naming is. I think it's bloomering. Let's just call it heating up the iron area. And since we were done with Finver and I'm just waiting for my metal works to finish, I decided to raid this place again to check what was at the center or what was around this area. I never really explored here. I only, stayed at the outside of this zone. But now with our high level in archery, I decided to pay this place a visit again. The whites were very easy to kill, so I didn't need to use my bow and arrow with them. But these elites, I needed to use my bow and arrow because I didn't want to risk dying from them. And look, it's kind of easy actually. But they do recover from posture very fast, so I shouldn't use my melee weapon again once they're knocked out. So upon harvesting the follower or the revenant elite, they actually drop some Jotun blood. So damn, another source of Jotun blood. So I continue killing whites and these elites. They were different in color, but their attack patterns, how big they are, they're pretty similar, everything. They're just basically 4 shots. So yeah, I basically exterminated everything around this area. They're pretty easy now that my bow level is very high. I made even more bloomery as I really need those irons to be hot so our worksmith can start hammering it down to shape. I was really looking forward to getting an iron axe so I can chop some birch so we can make the carpentry station. While having nothing else to do, I continued mining for some iron ores. I really wanted new metal stuff. Look at this boy hammering a knife blade. I'm so excited to have a new knife, a new axe. Come on, faster. So I see that the blacksmith left this axe head here. So I tried hammering it down. And looking at the progress, I'm not really doing that much. I think I need a better hammer for this. And now with the iron axe on hand, I can finally chop some birch. I'll let my builder grab the logs and put it on my carpenter's workstation. We are currently 28 villagers strong. Our village is expanding. And as for food, I'm not really running low. I have so much meat. I don't know where my hunters are hunting, but they are gathering so much meat that I just never run out. But I still need to think of maybe making a farm for food because eventually the animals might, run out. I continued going to the cave and gather a bunch more iron ores. I also want my workers in my village to have iron items. When I came back to the village, I don't know what these guys are doing. They're always sitting like that in front of my Odin's eye. Is there something here actually? They're just there sitting and staring at something. It's so weird. I also got myself a new knife now. I can destroy this meat chunk in like 2 hits. Look how fast that was. That was crazy. Iron is making everything better now. And with my archery skill being at level 70, I decided to train my melee now. Look, raiders. Have a taste of my bow and arrow. Oh my god, look at that damage and that stagger. Oh, 3 hits. And you're done. Look how strong we are. Crazy. I wonder how much damage I would have if we reach like, let's say level 100 on archery. Alright, so thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be uploading part 2 if I still feel like continuing this series. Hope you guys enjoyed your stay here. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. So yeah, bye now.